What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Blackblade and welcome back to my channel. And for today, I would like to share to you guys a build that I am currently using, or I've been, currently enjoying in Diablo 3. Now, with the recent patch, they kind of changed a lot of stuff and they already implemented the loot 2.0 mechanics. So, with that said, let's get into the build proper. Now, the build will revolve around using the Berserker Rage. Now, as you can see there, the Berserker Rage, you deal 25% additional damage while at maximum fury. So, 25% is actually a huge damage dealer for your build or for any character. So, taking advantage of that will be really good. And of course, next to that is called the Brawler, which says that as long as there are 3 enemies within 12 yards, all of your damage is increased by 20%. So that is a pretty interesting passive skill tree. So what that means is if we have a group of mob and they are beyond 3, we get an additional 20%. So that's 20% plus 25%. We are getting a 45%. Now, add to that, of course, the Weapon Master. Since we are going to be using a very special, unique item, or a very special, unique weapon, it is a sword. So as you can see, with swords, we gain an 8% increased damage. So let's get into the sword. Now, in order for the build to properly work, we will going to be needing to use the Stalgard's Decimator. As you can see there on the orange tip, it says that your melee attacks throw a piercing axe at nearby enemy, dealing 312 weapon damage as physical. So 312% is a really huge weapon damage percentage in this game. So as you can see, every time we attack with a melee with a melee attack, an axe gets thrown out, dealing 312% damage. So that is a pretty huge damage. Now, you may be wondering why there's a 513 dexterity over there. This axe actually, this weapon actually dropped when I was farming, or when I was using my monk. So it was only natural for the primary stat to be dexterity. But then, when Reaper of Souls comes out, I'm going to be trying to change that into strength if it's possible to roll that. Now, with that in mind, of course, the 312% weapon axe. With that in mind, let's get into our primary. Now, our primary attack will be frenzy, because with the with the rune sidearm, so that as you can see there, each strike has a 25% to throw a piercing axe at a nearby enemy that deals 130% weapon damage to all enemies in its path. So there will be actually 2 axes that will be that will be thrown out into the mobs. One coming from the weapon, and then one coming from sidearm. So it will be a pretty decent AOE. It won't really kill everything, in one blow, but it's going to be fun. Now, for my secondary skill, as you can see there, I have I have Furious Charge. Now, it's entirely optional if you want to put in some probable Fury Spender. That will be okay too. But for me, since we're using the Berserker Rage as one of our passives, I'd really like the Fury to be almost full all the time. Of course, for our skill number 1, we have Battle Rage with Into the Fray. Into the Fray, we gain an additional critical hit chance for each enemy within 10 yards, surrounding us. So that means if we are in the middle of a lot of group of mobs, that would be good, because each one of them, within our radius, will get an additional critical hit chance. Now, for my second skill, I have Sprint. Now, the reason that I want Sprint is because I just really want to run around the map or finish the dungeon as fast as possible. So Sprint will really help us in clearing a dungeon or an area a lot faster, or traversing it. Now, for my third skill, as you can see, it's Wrath of the Berserker with the Ariat's Wail as a rune, because as you can see there, activating Wrath of the Berserker deals 3,400% weapon damage to all enemies within 15 yards. Now, 3,400 is a huge number. It's a huge percentage. You know, I've tried activating this, and then and then sometimes, you know, when I get lucky, because this what do you call this? This 3,400% damage actually crits, and sometimes I get lucky, and most of the blue elite mobs will almost die with just a little bit of life bar left in them, and most of the elite white trash mobs will almost instantaneously die. So it's a pretty good rune in my opinion. Now every barbarian has this war cry with impunity, you know, increases our resistance to all elements by 20%. Alright, so again, in order for this build to properly work, I suggest that you get a Stalgard's Decimator. Alright, so enough talk, let's get into some juicy gameplay. For our map, we are going to be going to Festering Woods because there are 2 dungeons there, and they are guaranteed to have an elite mob. Alright, so there's only one drawback to this. I'm not sure if it's a bug, but sometimes, I hope you guys get to observe it in this video, but sometimes there will be no axe that will be thrown. As you can see there, before I killed the last skeleton, there wasn't any axe that was going out. I don't know if it's that, if it's a bug, or it's probably messing with the axe that should come out of the sidearm. But you know, there will be times that you will not be able to see any axe, you know, come out of your character. Wherein, you know, as the description says, every melee attack that you do, there should be an axe going out. So that could be a bug. I'm not entirely sure. Also, I forgot to tell you guys that the axe that goes out, that works with bash, cleave, and frenzy only. It doesn't work with weapon throw. It doesn't work with any of the any of the secondary skills here that you see. It doesn't work with ancient spear, whirlwind, seismic slam, rend, or hammer of the ancient. No axe comes out other than, you know, other than these 3 primary attributes. Which is weird because whirlwind is actually a melee, a melee skill. So there's supposed to be an axe that goes off there, but I don't know. They're probably gonna change it in the future. As you can see, we're doing a pretty okay AOE. With the 2 matching axe that comes out. Now the only way to know which axe is, you know, dealing the 312% damage is when you observe the critical damage. As you can see there, if you saw there, it says 400. As you can see there, 490 plus K damage. So that is actually the 312% axe that is coming out. And all of the rest, you know, the 112, the 158,000, all other attacks that are below 300 and 400k, critical damage, that is coming either from the frenzy or from the axe that is coming out of the or from sidearm. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm so stuttering so much. All right, where is the elite? All right, here's the elite. Let's get in there, and then let's pop in the berserker. As you can see, almost this one died. Almost every almost every white trash elite mobs almost died, and it's a pretty cool it's a pretty cool skill. The only downside to this is it gets pretty boring as time progresses, because you're not really entirely doing anything other than furious charge and activating your shouts and sometimes sprinting, and you know, most often you're just really using the frenzy skill. So that's about it for me, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'm gonna see you guys on the next part of my video. Have a good one. For my amulet, I'm using this. It has a really good high damage. As you can see, it's 30 to 62. It has a really high roll of strength, which is 224. Not so high roll with vitality. As you can see, it's just 53.